Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
So, welcome to this third session of ergonomics for beginners industrial design perspective. Now, today we are starting the second module, that is the discipline approach, ergonomics and human factors. Here total 5 classes will be there. Now, these 5 classes are, the sessions in this module are like 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, and today's class is journey, the ergonomics, the journey from how it is originated and where it is at present, and fitting task to man this. Now, under this the current session, now we are going to discuss ergonomics, the human factors as discipline, historical background, that is origin and the journey, contributors in the field, that is the influence from design development and the influences of that while developing or while enriching this subject, and its origin from military, influence of design movement. Under this, form and function follows human compatibility, design, the ergonomic approach, and that is demand. Today's design is demanding eco-friendly design, and we will summarize it as defining the discipline. Now, ergonomics or human factors as a discipline, it could be said it is science, arts and technology of man at work, and about the human informations are to be used for, that for the optimum use of human resources to achieve maximum benefit. Now, under this we can say that why it is science and arts of man, because it deals with the fundamental aspects of human being, that is the different, starting from its structure to its movement pattern and its behavior, how he reacts with the object, in how he behaves within this environment. So, those are the fundamentals, and it is his aesthetic perception, why he likes something and some others not. So, in this the study of human physical dimension, the physiological aspects and behavioral capabilities, limitations and other context specific characteristics of human being are normally discussed. So, these are, we can say that this is the science and arts of man at work as well as while he is taking rest, and also it is technology. Ergonomics is also technology, because the practical application aspects in design, management issues and occupational safety and appropriate applications of the same informations to the design of tools, machines, systems, tasks, jobs and his overall surrounding environment where he is working or where he is staying. Now, finally, with this science of and arts of man and the technological applications, after applying, it also looks into the methodology to evaluate the benefits thereby. If after applying certain human information in design, in management issue aspects or occupational safety area, if the required benefits are not coming, then we cannot say that the application of ergonomics is proper. So, now by acquiring this knowledge, the user satisfaction leading to product acceptance in market will increase and during production optimum productivity and sustainable growth be ensured. Now, if we see the ergonomics and human factors as discipline, its origin and journey, it has art and design movement influences and management influence also with its basic military origin. Now, at the beginning, it started into looking for the comfort, hazards, safety and stress that man is facing in working conditions. So, multiple factors are responsible for comfort and improved productivity with human interface. Now, at the beginning of this discipline, it has started with a human interface mostly for productivity purpose. Now, if we look into the historical background, the ergonomics and human factors, sometimes it is people call this discipline like that, sometimes only ergonomics and sometimes human factors. But now, if we see that is there any difference or it is the same subject matter, basically it is same subject matter, but from origin point of view it has some differences. Mostly what happened, the early emphasis was on improving pilot performance for airplane pilots via optimal layout and type of controls and displays. Means what happened, during the World War II, the air operation led to a specific group of people, those who are mostly concerned on the control and knobs design and its placement, locations, design, etc. They were known as control knob engineers. Now, how it came? Now, it is normally said that when aeroplanes were developed during this World War time, the pilots faced some problem of flying. Then a group of people started looking into this aspect and then they found that all the controls, knobs and etc. are ambiguous. The different reach values are not within easy control and also the viewing screen and etc. are not proper. So, these have triggered to start looking into the human aspects in the small work area, where he is using or he is facing or interacting with many mechanical components and space surrounding to that working area within. Now, at Europe, it started as ergonomics. Now, these two Greek words, ergon and nomos or nomosi, that is, ergon is the unit of work or work, nomos is the natural law. So, these two words combined together and made it ergonomics. That means the science of work and a person's relationship to that work. Now, this erg is unit of work, but from physical science point of view, this erg means how we can say that some work has been done, that if a force is applied, then the object, if there is some displacement of deformity in shape and etcetera, then we can say that some work is been done on that. But from human point of view, it is that even when we are sleeping in an idle condition, at that time also we are spending energy. So, from this spending energy point of view, this erg was considered, and so the ergonomics term came to see whether the man, when he is using a product or a machine, whether his work ability is within the limit of his energy level. So, this is the ergonomics. At the same time, in the USA, they have started using the similar activities as human factors engineering. Now, after certain time, they found that this area, this is not only confined within the engineering aspects, but it has many other application areas also. So, they have finally come to this term human factors. At the same time, or in some other areas, under human behavioral science, this type of activities are also started. Like human ergology and etcetera, some journals are also available. Now, so this was the, from origin point of view, this is the difference. Now, human factors engineering and human factors, they given more stress on human body dimensions and psychological, whereas the ergonomics has started with a physiological base, that is from human energy, they have given more stress on that. So, from this origin point of view, we can say some difference, otherwise this whole this ergonomics and human factors, these are the same topic. And now, what is it? Now, to address this specific aspect of humanization activities, most of the countries have their own societies with international body named IEA, that is International Ergonomics Association, and this is their logo. And the term finally has come, ergonomics and human factors, or they use only ergonomics and sometimes it is used only as human factors. In India also we have Indian Society of Ergonomics, that is ISEIC, and its and this is the its web. Now, in India, mostly ergonomics application areas are design, management, and in occupational health, hazard, stress and safety aspects. So, with this we can say that what is the present status in India and how ergonomics is being used. Now, there are many institutes, they are the ergonomic centers, they are operating on specific inclination, that is like Defense Institute of Physiology and Allied Sciences, they use ergonomics for defense development purpose. National Institute of Design Ahmedabad, they use for designing activities. National Institute of Occupational Health in Ahmedabad for occupational health issues. At Mumbai, the Indian Institute of Technology Bombay, that is Industrial Design Center, there they look to the aspects of design. In Mumbai, NITI, they also do with that industrial management. Central Labour Institute at Mumbai for labor laws and labor issues. Whereas, in some industries, for health management like Shell, Bokaro, MRI for mine safety and etc. Now, BHEL Tiruchirappalli looks after health management. Now, so these all these centers, they are using ergonomics or practicing ergonomics with specific inclination. Now, as a whole the subject, only Calcutta University, Vidyasagar University and Kalyani University at Calcutta at the West Bengal, there the postgraduate education under the discipline of physiology as a specialization course, it is there, and there all the aspects of ergonomics are being taught. Now, there are some other design institutes are also there, and now find that IIT Guwahati under its Department of Design, that ergonomics laboratory is there, and here we use the design technology under bachelor's course, master's degree level input to design curriculum, and for PhD with various issues of ergonomics. The list continues to some institutes of home sciences, agriculture, engineering and related disciplines, and some leading industries are also using ergonomics for their specific product development purpose. Now, the philosophy of ergonomics, its basic philosophy, the objective is to increase the productivity, safety and comfort for effective use. Major application areas are industrial engineering, occupational biomechanics, industrial design, human computer interaction, health and safety, organization management. Now, with this we can say that now the ergonomics as a specific discipline, it has started, and also it has influence of design movement. Now, we can say that the art and craft with various influences, it has taken two different routes. One has become designed for to satisfy mass users and for mass production, and art remain as a masterpiece work. Now, design origin, if we see, with influence of design schools, high professionalism came in art. Artists started to make things in more practical, applicable and usable manner, which causes deviation of art towards design. Art in its traditional way the art is perceived as the matter of greater mental analysis, compels the mind of the painter to transform itself into the very kind of nature, to become an interpreter between nature and the art. Now, as we say that nature has influenced some thoughts, here basic thing comes inspiration from observing nature. Now, a term always being used is biomorphism. Just for example, we can say that now this ball and socket joint is found in animals, humans, but for this ball bearing joint in mechanical use, we are not sure whether the inventor of this ball and socket joint, whether they are influenced from this nature, or another times this bird's beak and this spoon, whether there is some influence, we are not sure, but we take clue from here to develop further. Once the functional element become well known, change of its form becomes more necessary to fulfill particular needs. It is said that nature or our biological system is the best source of extracting the form of a product pursuing the similar intended function, as for example, the mechanical joint here and the spoon can be cited. Now, another two terms, that bionics and bionic. The basic studies of mechanical systems that function like a living organism or parts of living organism. Now, bionic is that having artificial body parts or the superhuman powers resulting from these relating to bionics. Now, humanization in design. Nearly every product we use, it is justified in asking exactly what it is looking at the form, and then we feel what it does in the function, and finally, we try to look into how it performs, means linking these two, means form and function with human compatibility features. Whatever we see, we try to analyze this from these points of view. Now, if we see the Western background of design development, art and design transition, the new art became the first popular in 20th century style. All these things look like essentially European. Organic form and decoration inspired largely by nature. Familiar motifs included curvilinear elements and different type of lines, etc. Here the art form is generated, but whether human comfort point of view, whether it satisfies or not, and how far it is satisfying, that are being looked after. Now, form and design, it also takes the human body figure type. Human body figure type by Bauhaus. from 1990 to 1923 this area. Now, another object is that the designers started using different lines. The stage 1917 to 1928, they have developed some thoughts. Dutch for the style, it is the name of a group of artists and architects who set out to create a universal style in architecture, graphic arts and design, using squares and rectangles in flat planes of bold primary colors along with black, grey and white, all carefully orchestrated with straight lines. Now, these have generated specific forms, but how far it is human compatible, it needs to be considered, and these considerations and the new form generations have made today's journey of new design. Now, form and human compatibility. The present day context of product development is that newer developments should have similarities of some features of similar known items. As for example, we can say that perception of paper made diary and digital diary. Some 20 or little more before 20 or 25 years before, when digital diary came in market, people started buying that. But then it is noticed in Indian market that people are not happy with digital diary, because when we inquired some people, some response came that we are habituated with seeing the paper made diary, and that opens up in a horizontal mode, but in digital diary it appears in a vertical mode. So, it does not get compatible, that does not match with our own earlier understanding, and also there are some other difficulties and etc. So, people have started using back the paper mode of a diary. So, we can say that when we develop some new product, we must consider the past experience of the users of similar products. Then the newer development will be accepted by the people. Now, familiarity of product form and symbolic meaning of a form. An object could be of a visual form never seen before, yet it may look familiar because it symbolizes something which is familiar. We need to consider this. The symbolism of an object allows the observer to relate it as this or that type object even before you know what the object itself does. So, these are the some of the aspects of design, that is form and human compatibility looks into. Now, the function and human compatibility aspect. If we see these two features of mobiles, here the switches and etc., how it works, its acceptance is dependent. The range of functions of a product can vary from specific to sweeping. Effective users' operational easiness can be perceived by functional integration of system or subsystems of a product. There should be links of functional patterning, functional continuity, functional similarity and no operational hindrance, that we can say from this figure. Suppose this is the visual area where these are the two inputs and output. This is the switch and this is the visual. So, to operate any one or to see this visual, other are not creating any hindrance, but in this presentation it does not give that, means when it is here, so the switch has some problem and visual also some problem. So, we can say that so we can say it is rightful and it is not okay, means no operational hindrance should be there while making the layout pattern. Now, function and humanity and human compatibility, we also can say again that how form says it, like in this cup has lot of curves and etc. For making point of view is also difficulties, for drinking also it is a difficulties, and for maintenance also it is difficulties. But in that case the same purpose is being done with this, where it is more clear lines and for mass production point of view this is better. So, while making form that is semiotic appeal, we need to consider it. When we talk of a product, we really refer to its sound, feel or smell. This is striking reminder that human perception is dominated by vision and that the product style, form, shape, size is usually an abbreviation for visual appearance of semiotic appeal. Now, another thing comes that gender issues and gender and age issues and design thoughts. Differentiation in design according to use of user's gender and age. Now, there are some knives, it says that some male, after looking it seems that a group of things are males and female types of. It probably started in 1910 when Montgomery Ward's and Company offered 131 knives that were grouped into 4 categories according to the function, sex and age. Distinction came between men and women and adult and children at that time. But always it is not true, because now what has happened, people like unisex products. Now, another example we can say that, so this watch and this watch, if we see, it simply say that it is male type and it is female type. But why? After seeing this form, it says ruggedness and more angular type. For female use, delicate and curvilinear. So, what aspects gives us this type of feelings? If we can incorporate in design, then it may give male and female. That means masculine and feminine form of a product may be perceived by the emotional and behavioral approach of male and female. These all are there, but now trend has come for common use, because the same product now must be compatible to male use requirement and female use requirement. Now, the question comes, how to satisfy both male and female with single unisex approach? Then we must need to know the common factors of male behavior and female behavior. These are the fundamentals of ergonomics issues, ergonomics knowledge. Now, if we see these two scooters, if we ask which one looks like male and which one looks like female, people can say this looks male type, this looks female type, because this delicate look, ruggedness look and etc. The product which is symmetrical have clean lines, making simple geometric forms, less ornamentation will be easier to process visually and hence will have more immediate visual appeal. Now, users friendly design, task and users information. Using information about people to design for comfort and efficiency and safety. Now, if we go back few years back, then we can see that the fashion trend was to have narrower waistline, and so dress codes and etc. also were there. But now that is not seen in market. Now, it has come more open waist area, that type of designs. Now, a thought may come that perhaps in earlier designers, they are not much aware of our body structure and the problem and the figure. Perhaps they thought our body structure is like this. But after that, when the human anatomy and figure styling and etc. are become well known, so then accordingly the dress code and etc. started changing. Just one example can be cited that when Barbie dolls have come in market, a study says at that time those who were very young kids, girls, after certain age, they found some problem of menstruation and etc., some other problems. Then a small study reflected on this, and then they said that probably those kids, they found that earlier Barbie doll body structure is an ideal. So, they tried to maintain that, and while trying to maintain that, the measures they have taken, it was not proper. So, designing of a product or system must give maximum comfort, efficiency and safety to its users. The human compatible design development, it says that form follows function, means when we develop something, some working components are first developed and then functional links between them or among them are developed, and then a shape is given, outer shape to have a object. So, here we can say that form is based on the functional elements inside it. Next level comes function follows form. When we came to know the internal components and etc., then users aesthetic perceptions, human compatibility, product of using it freely and with satisfaction. Based on these things, we can say that what would be the shape or total product, and accordingly we can modify the internal components and their link layouts etc. That we can say that function follows form, that type of development. Now, finally, we can say that form, function and the needs of human beings, the users, together should form an integral concept when designing an individual product or a system. So, in this case, the proper ergonomics inputs have come in force, and nowadays products are more and more human compatible. Now, human compatibility, the optimum use of human resource for maximum benefit. Human compatibility with product reliability, safety and context. Man the prime system component while designing human behavior, abilities, limitations, that is physical, physiological and behavior, and other context specific characteristics should be taken into consideration. And now, the design, it is demanding eco-friendly design, a sustainable design. What are the factors are there? We need to study. In next classes, these will be discussed with some examples. Thus, we can say that thus both the approaches means from basic origin point of view, that is a military origin, originated from military requirement initially, and designers feeling to satisfy people have enriched the subject domain. So, now the rest of the courses, the course material will be a mixture of the ergonomics basic fundamentals and its design relevances. Now, the defining discipline. The defining discipline, this is that occupational safety and design. Here also we can say that a person in sewing machine, still the man is doing total manual job for rickshaw pulling. The machines are developed, tractors and etc. The visual point of view, the vision, the reach values and work efforts and etc. If we see this type of examples in our day to day life, from that we can define the discipline as though its continuous development, through its continuous development as a discipline is defined or described as the appropriate application of available scientific information about human beings to design, thereby enriching the same by establishing an optimum interaction between man and the usable things developed by him. It requires a multidisciplinary scientific approach towards studying the work method and accessories in the context of physical, physiological and psychosociological capabilities of people. It also means evaluating the facilities, environment, jobs, training methods and equipment to match with the capabilities of the users, and thereby reduces the potential for fatigue, errors, discomfort and unsafe acts. These are the broadly we can define the scope of this ergonomics discipline specific to design and other areas of applications in management and occupational health areas. Now, if we summarize this today's course material, what we discussed, the summary that lead to the next classes, ergonomics and human factors means the science of work and person's relationship to that work. In application, it focuses making products and tasks comfortable and efficient for the user. It also defined as the science of fitting the task or work to the user instead of forcing the user to get fit in it, means to fit the work and using work equipment and space. Means whatever we are developing, design, task, workspace, etc., when we are acquiring some work equipment, we must see what is the capabilities of man to use that. Means the work area and design must fit the human limitations. Rather, it would not be like this, that first procure the equipment, make your design, the space, layout, and then ask a person to be there and work with that. We cannot modify man, we cannot change ourselves, we can learn, but there is also limitations. My physical body we cannot change. So, whatever being developed, it should be according to my requirement, and here the basic fundamentals of ergonomics plays role. Now, the next session we are going to discuss, that is the class number 4, the domain of ergonomics, the basic philosophy and objectives, and rest will follow the class 5, 6 and 7, that is mutual task comfort, two-way dialogue, communication model. In class 6, ergonomics and human factors fundamentals, that is that physical and psychological aspects issues, and class 7, that is physiological aspects, mostly work physiology and the stress issues. So, with this we are concluding this today's session, and in next session we will see you again. Thank you very much.